We've all heard of The Little Prince, right? It's that classic story, a boy, a pilot, a single rose on a tiny planet. But what if I told you that what we think it's about is just the tip of the iceberg? What if it's actually this deep, profound guide to, well, to understanding ourselves, hitting right there in plain sight? Let's dive in and see if we can uncover that hidden meaning together.
So, on the one hand, you've got this beloved children's story. It's simple, it's sweet. But on the other, and this is where it gets really interesting, some people, some scholars, see it as a complete guide to self-realization. I mean, a journey straight into the human soul. That's the tension we're going to explore today. The fairy tale versus the deep, profound message hiding right underneath.
And that leads to a pretty wild question, doesn't it? What if the greatest children's book ever written isn't really for children at all? I mean, think about it. What if the real audience is us? The grown-ups. The ones who might have forgotten something really important along the way.
Okay, so the very first clue, and maybe the biggest one, is right there at the beginning with that drawing. You remember it, right? To all the grown-ups, it's just a hat. Obvious. Nothing more to it. But for a child, or for the narrator as a child, it's a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. And this isn't just a funny little detail. No, this is the master key to the whole book. It's telling us from page 1, things are not what they seem, and the stuff that really matters, well, it's often invisible to our grown-up eyes.
So, if we want to see what the grown-ups are missing, we've got to look a little closer. We have to treat this book like a story inside a story, almost like a secret code. When you really start digging, you find all these little details that just don't quite add up in a normal kid's story. I mean, think about it. A little boy, all by himself in the middle of the Sahara Desert? A working well miles from any civilization? These aren't mistakes or plot holes. They're put there on purpose. They're these little red flags meant to make us stop and think, wait a minute, maybe I'm not supposed to take this literally. They're pushing us to look for a deeper, symbolic meaning.
And all these clues, they all point to one thing. The Little Prince's trip from planet to planet isn't just a fun adventure. It's what's called an initiatory journey. Basically, it's a spiritual quest. Every character he meets, every planet he visits, it's all part of a larger lesson for him, and for us, about the art of living a wise and meaningful life.
Okay, so if this is a spiritual quest, that means the characters he meets aren't just, a king or a lamplighter. They're symbols. They represent different parts of our own soul. Let's start breaking them down. First up, we have the Rose. She's the whole reason he leaves home in the first place, right? He just can't figure her out, her pride, her thorns, and his own overwhelming love for her. She's basically that one person or that one powerful connection in our lives that's so beautiful, but also so complicated that it forces us to go out into the world to figure ourselves out. And then he meets the fox. Now, the fox isn't just some random talking animal. He's more like a wise teacher, a guide, and he shows up at the prince's lowest point, when he's just discovered a whole garden full of roses, and he thinks his own special rose is meaningless. But the fox is about to drop some serious wisdom on him, maybe the most important lesson in the entire book. And here it is. The fox says, one only understands the things that one tames. Now, taming sounds a little weird, but all he means is to create bonds, to connect. He's telling the prince, look, your rose is special not because there aren't others like her, but because you've invested in her. You've watered her, listened to her, put up with her. It's the time and the care that make her unique to you. It's a game changer of an idea, right? Love isn't something you just find. It's something you actively build. And then, of course, there's the snake. Now, our first instinct is to see the snake as a symbol of death, and that's understandable. But in the world of this story, its meaning is way deeper. The snake's bite isn't really the end. It's a transformation, a rebirth. It's the vehicle that allows the prince to shed his physical body and return, in spirit, to his home. It's about passage, not just an ending.
So we have these amazing symbols, right? The rose, the fox, the snake. But how do they all connect? Well, the master key to unlocking all of this comes from a totally different field, psychology, specifically from Carl Jung and his idea of archetypes.
Jung had this fascinating idea that we all share something called a collective unconscious. You can kind of think of it like a human software, a shared database of myths, symbols, and experiences that are hardwired into all of us. And inside that database are archetypes, these universal characters and situations like the hero, the wise old man, the trickster. It's why so many stories from completely different cultures feel oddly familiar.
And here's the kicker.
The characters from The Little Prince fit these archetypes perfectly. It's almost uncanny. The Little Prince himself, he's the divine child archetype, that part of us that's full of potential and wonder. The rose, she's the anima, the symbol of love that drives the hero's quest. The fox is a classic spirit or wise guide, and the snake, as we said, is the symbol of passage or transformation. Suddenly, you realize this isn't just a children's story. It's literally a map of the human soul.
Okay, let's put it all together. We've got the secret clues, the spiritual journey, these powerful psychological archetypes. So what's the point of all this? What's the big takeaway? What is this book really trying to tell us?
And the answer is, well, it's pretty profound. The book isn't actually a story for children. It's a message to adults. Specifically to the grown-up who has forgotten what it's like to be a child, who has lost touch with that divine child inside. It's a wake-up call, urging us to find that part of ourselves that's still curious, still open, and still sees the world with a sense of wonder.
Which brings us to the most famous, most beautiful line in the entire book. It's the secret the fox gives the prince, and it's really the heart of the whole story. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. This is it. This is the answer he was searching for. All the things that truly matter, love, connection, meaning, you can't see them, you can only feel them.
And just like that, we're right back where we started, with that drawing of the hat. See, the secret of the entire book is the secret of that drawing. Grown-ups, using only their eyes and their logic, they see a hat. It's simple, it's obvious. But the child within us, the part that sees with the heart, sees the essential truth that's invisible to the eye. It sees the boa constrictor digesting an elephant.
So the point of all this isn't just to understand the book's secret. It's to try and live it. The story leaves us all with a challenge, really. A question. If the most essential things are invisible to the eye, what essential thing in your own life will you make a point to see this week? Not with your eyes, but with your heart.